Assalamu alaikum. Yesterday, Frontline's and Martin Smith released part of the interview with Muhammad al-Jolani. This video that was released caused a bit of controversy, a bit of discussion here and there, debates you could say. I felt like a lot of it was a bit secondary. Really, we should concentrate more on what's the future of the revolution, the future of the Syrian people, the future of the war against the Assad regime. Look, I felt like it was a marketing move, trying to market the interview and prepare it for its release, as they mentioned, maybe in a month or so. Look, I've got 5 points that I was thinking about once when I was hearing these discussions. I thought I'd share them. I'll start with the first point. Look, the Syrian revolution has been going on for 10 years, and they're still striving strong and hard. The Free Syrian people are facing, you could say, the worst forms of atrocities maybe in modern history. The Russian intervention and occupation has destroyed hospitals, homes, marketplaces. They actually specialize in targeting civilian areas. The Assad regime himself used barrel bombs, thousands upon thousands falling over the heads of women and children in their homes. Millions of people have been displaced, over half of the population. How many people, pro-revolution and anti-revolution, assumed that the revolution would not last this long? But they're still striving hard and firm, delivering their message to the east and to the west, what their strategy is, their relationship is with the regional countries and even international countries, what their vision and mission are. And really, to be able to express this after 10 years, it shows a very important message and really hits a strong blow to the Assad regime. Point number 2. The revolution has gone through an important development and you could say transformation from chaos to order. Previously, there were hundreds of factions, decentralized, unorganized, you could say many cases of infighting, problems, you could say, for many of the years of the revolution. Things have gradually, over the past 24 months, developed into some sort of a centralized system. A Syrian Salvation Government has been established in Idlib's, in the Idlib province, where it specializes in serving the hurt Syrian people who are residing here that have come from all over Syria, and serving them within the 10 ministries and many other institutions. As well, there's been a centralized security services, the general security services, where it specializes in ridding the area of all the sleeper cells, ISIS, Assad regime, or Russian, as well as those who will to bring harm and you could say insecurity to the liberated areas and tarnish the sanctity of its people. I think this has been a very important move, where centralizing, building a government, building these institutions, really establishing something for the future of the Free Syrian people. Number 3, look, I think there was many errors that occurred over the decade of the revolution from pretty much anyone and everyone that took place in the revolution. There were so many problems that occurred for so many different reasons. Really is very confusing and complicated. To explain it in this video would be very hard. Maybe in another video I can get more in detail. These errors and these problems needed to be faced with reform. Now, I'll say, from what I've witnessed here in the liberated areas, there has been reform across the board, whether it be military unification in a centralized operations room, whether it be centralizing all the security bodies or the security apparatuses that are operating into one general security services for all the liberated areas, for all the Syrian people residing here in Idlib. In addition to that, the economic, financial, education, even with the judicial system, unified courts, unified checkpoints, it's all been unified in a way that you're able to serve the people in one organized fashion. Are they where they need to be? No, I'll say there's definitely cracks and still issues that need to be addressed. But considering being a war zone and having a little human and financial resources, you've definitely breached many problems which were faced in the past. And this reform across the board has definitely brought much fruits and much services to the hurt Free Syrian people. Point number 4. The Syrian revolution and the leaders who were guiding it through the stages it's gone through have been able to avoid the two evils. ISIS and the likes and others similar to them, and the reconciliation. They've been able to strive through, struggle through, despite their hardships, despite the atrocities and the pain and you could say the problems they've faced. They've been able to strive through, determined to achieve their goal, the falling of the Assad regime, to achieve their goal, justice and freedom, establishing a project, establishing a future for the Syrian people. Now, this struggle forth has been a great achievement, avoiding, like I said, the two evils, all this within the boundaries and within the principles of Islam. Point number 5. I think there's been, over the years, a status quo built up where people believe or may think that the revolution is only good for destruction. Well, I think through developing, through reforming, through establishing the institutions, ministries, and these programs that are serving the Syrian people, having pragmatism and being, you could say, reasonable with addressing and dealing and handling the affairs, this has all been able to break that status quo where no, the revolutionaries are actually here to construct, actually here to build, actually here to establish a future for themselves and for their children and for the free Syrian people. In addition to that, the term terrorism or terrorist, really, that needs to be revised. You've got the Assad regime, the Russians and the Iranians, and the thousands upon thousands of mercenaries, or you could say militias, that have caused havoc, killed, destroyed, terrorized millions of Syrian people, yet they are still recognized, and you have those who are supporting and defending the hurt Syrian people. They're the ones that are called terrorists. This needs to be revised. I think challenging that is a very important step and a very important message that has been delivered and should be delivered to achieve positive goals for the free Syrian people's future. In conclusion, the message that was, you could say, released, the video that was released yesterday, it might have caused some controversy. Are there still problems and issues and errors that are occurring in the revolution or in the liberated areas? I'd say yes. Is there reform? Is there development? Are things moving in the right direction? I'd definitely say yes. I'd say that the revolution and those who are establishing it and those who are building institutions in the liberated areas are challenging the Assad regime, are challenging those who assumed that the revolution wouldn't last this long. They're proposing to the international community, proposing to the Muslim world, proposing to the Syrian people themselves that we are able to establish a project, able to establish a future that will be a replacement for the Assad regime. Jazakumullah khair, it's your brother Ibrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.